Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time, the newest and final movie of the Evangelion rebuilds, and the end of the Evangelion franchise in general. Today I will be reviewing this film as I am a huge fan of Evangelion, and it's probably the anime that's affected me most throughout the years. First I will do a non-spoiler review, so don't worry about that. And then I'll warn you guys when I'm about to delve into heavy spoilers, so then you can click off or continue watching if you've seen the movie. If you guys want to know where to watch this movie, it along with the last 3 rebuilds are all on Amazon Prime right now. That's where I watched the film, and you could probably pirate it somewhere too. Not saying I condone it, but you could. I mean, I'm not going to stop you. How am I going to find out? I'm not your FBI agent. But yeah, if you like Eva, like the video, subscribe, because I have a lot of Eva content planned. It's actually unbelievable. But yeah, for this review, I honestly don't know what to talk about. There's actually so much I could touch on. Okay, I'm gonna start off saying that this is a masterpiece of a film. I recently reread all of Eva, including the rebuilds leading up to this one, so I could have it all recently fresh in my mind and remember all the details from all of Eva so far. And I'm tempted to say that this film is not only better than the end of Eva, but it could possibly be the best anime film I've ever seen. The best film I've ever seen. And this is gonna sound like an exaggeration, but honestly, it is that good. But I'm gonna give it some time before I say anything like that, because I don't want recency bias affecting me that hard. Also, if you're worried about this not being an actual conclusion, this is an actual conclusion. Evangelion ends when this film ends. I thought it was a very, very satisfying ending to the franchise. If we're gonna get into all the technical aspects, the animation is stellar. I don't even need to get into that. The CGI and everything was used wonderfully. The voice acting was obviously amazing as well. No surprise there once again. Each main character and even a lot of side characters get their proper development and end to their character arcs, in which, since the rebuilds, I thought were focused more on the main characters. I didn't assume that the side characters would get as much development as they did, but it was a welcome surprise. The music and OST, fantastic. It was beautiful, especially that ending song, dude. Speaking of the music, the funny thing is, I only broke into tears when the credits started rolling and One Last Kiss started playing, because I was like, shit, one of the most influential pieces of fiction in my life is over for good. But who knows what the future holds. Ano did say this. In an interview, he said, "I don't feel a need to see Shinji and the other characters anytime soon, but that doesn't mean I don't want to see them ever again. There might come a time when I meet them again." And as we all know, Ano mainly makes Eva when he has something he wants to like project pretty much onto the world. I don't want to like speak for him because I don't know like all the details, but it's mainly Eva's like how he's feeling and stuff. So maybe we will see more Eva, but honestly, I'm perfectly fine with this ending. It wraps up everything perfectly. But yeah, not only the ending, the first act, the middle, the climax, everything about this film was outstanding. 10 out of 10. And this is the most 10 out of 10 I've ever seen. If you're an Eva fan who has either not seen this film or an Eva fan who hasn't seen the rebuilds, you gotta stop sleeping on this. Watch it immediately. I would even recommending rewatching the original anime, reading the manga, watching the rebuilds, or rewatching them, because man, I think if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have enjoyed this film as much, as it literally ties everything together. Oh, I guess I spoiled my answer for this already, but is Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time watchable or laughable? It's very, very watchable. Like I said earlier, it's easily a contender for the best anime film of all time. Seeing as End of Eva was actually my top film before, and this might be better, to be honest. Actually, you know what? Screw it. This is better than End of Eva. Especially the last hour of the film. Masterpiece level. And I thought End of Eva was masterpiece. I honestly didn't think Eva could get any better than it already was, but man, it was insane. So yeah, screw it. I'm gonna say it. I don't care if it's recency bias. I can retract this later if I realize I'm wrong, but I doubt it. This is easily not only the best anime film I've ever seen, but it might be my favorite film ever. I don't think you guys understand how impactful Eva has been for me personally. It's just that one anime that, you know, that everyone has that kind of impacted them a lot. But yeah, man, I can't think of anything I've ever watched where like the end actually broke me and satisfied me this much. I don't know how to explain it, especially without spoiling. You just gotta watch it and then watch the spoiler review part, because this is where we're getting into the, you know, the good stuff. But yeah, that's all for the non-spoiler review. I'm about to dive into some spoiler talk, so if you haven't seen it yet, then go watch it and come back. Definitely watch it, man. All right, now that we're into spoilers, first off, I kind of saw this coming going into the film, especially with Kaoru each time in the rebuild saying like, this time I'll definitely make you happy. It's like stuff like that makes it sound like, oh, you've seen this before. But everything's canon. Like I said, I saw this coming, but I didn't expect them to confirm it in such a blatant way, along with like the timeline repeating thing. But holy shit, man, it was awesome. When Yui saved Shinji at the end, stab the thing. There is one part that I kind of want to get out of the way and address first. Shinji x Mari, Kaoru x Rei, Asuka x Kensuke. I don't know if the Kaoru x Rei one is official, but it seemed like, you know, they were together at the end. And the Asuka and Kensuke one's confirmed pretty much. Shinji and Mari is pretty much confirmed as well off the end. I dig it. I'm actually not mad that Asuka and Shinji didn't get together, which wouldn't make sense because before this movie, I thought that they're the best couple in Eva. But I look at it this way. Teenage Shinji and Asuka loved each other but never told each other that. But then Shinji was left behind and Asuka had 14 years to move on from that first love, which you know is one of the many themes of Eva, letting go of the past and looking towards the future. And in Asuka's future, she would get closer to Kensuke throughout the years as he saw her only as Asuka and not as some clone. But in the end, Shinji and Asuka admit to each other that they once liked each other way back then, showing how much they both matured and that they are now truly adults, which I think is another like huge part of this film, especially with like the moving on. They are now adults. They have passed that stage that they were at for the rest of Eva, and we've honestly seen the characters grow up, especially with that ending scene where they are actually growing up, like physically. It's insane. The anti-universe part was so cool. That fight, meaning wise and visually, because like the fight itself wasn't like, oh, all that crazy. But the fact that it was just a fight to see who would give up first, in a sense, and Shinji just came out with the "let's talk, father." I've been waiting so many years for Shinji and Gendo to have an actual speaking time talk thing, and we got it. Gendo's character actually getting fleshed out. I thought he was a top tier antagonist before. Now he is sitting comfortably among the top anime antagonists. I don't want to say top one because there's a lot of great ones, but goddamn is he up there. To be fair, he was already up there, but this just made him even better. But yeah, I love that the fight, like it would go from like movie looking thing to them going live action, not actually live action, but it made it look like they're on a movie set. Like they'd be fighting and then it changed to them like breaking through the movie set because they can't process the anti-universe or whatever. And when Gendo got off the train and gave up the additional impact to Shinji, wow. And then Shinji got rid of all the Evas. Bam. Awesome. Also, the beach scene. The contrast between this film and the end of Evangelion with both beach scenes. Goddamn. With the last one ending on more of a depressing note, you know, with him choking Asuka and all that to confirm that this is real. And it was all still overall on a depressing note, kind of, because, you know, the TV series ended with all that. But in this one, it was on a more hopeful note with, you know, obviously them telling each other they like them and then moving on and all that stuff. And they're now adults. It was great. P.S. I'm not saying End of Eva was completely depressing, but compared to this ending, it definitely was. But man, the contrast was everything I could have ever wanted and more. It was the perfect, not only reference, but just like the rest of the film references, they don't make references for the sake of fan service or references. They make references that make sense and tie it into the story and plot so well. It's actually crazy. But man, I want to make another video on this, but like an actual deep dive analysis of the ending, because this video isn't really scripted. It's just me saying my first thoughts that are in my brain with a few notes jotted down. But legit, there is so much I could say about this film. It's one of the longest anime films ever. There's so much packed into it. I still haven't even fully processed it. Dude, I woke up thinking about Eva this morning because I watched it last night. I went on my morning run before this, listening to Cruel Angel's Thesis, the ending songs for each movie, Fly Me to the Moon, all that stuff, and I still couldn't process it. It's all I could think about. I was gonna say this in the non-spoiler review part, but I guess it kind of is a spoiler saying it's all connected. But I was gonna say, not only as the ending for the rebuilds, but as the ending of all of Evangelion, it just makes all of Evangelion that much better as it's tied it together. It doesn't only make the end of the rebuilds better, but the end of all of Evangelion as it's all tied, and it's actually conclusive. At first, the rebuilds kind of seem like, you know, separate or whatever, but now looking back, it actually makes sense that this is a continuation in terms of development, especially with Shinji. And I just love how when Kaoru asks him what he wished for, instead of End of Eva, where he wished to be alone and all that stuff, but then, you know, in the end decided that, you know, humans being together, even if it is painful, was fine and all that stuff. But now, even now, it's a totally different lesson. he even kind of turned it on Kaoru, where it's like, you should give love to the people around you without expecting anything in return, just because you want their happiness. And it was crazy because Kaoru, turned out all along, he didn't even want Shinji's happiness. He wanted his own happiness through Shinji's happiness. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I think that's even part of it. I don't really know. This is I'm kind of rambling, but I don't really know how to explain any of it. Man, the scene with Rei with long hair, with all that, and it showed all the stuff behind them, that was goated. The very ending scene, or not the very ending scene, the scene before that, where Mari's on the beach and sees him, and it's just Shinji with keyframes, goated. Man, even though the manga authors had the extra chapter with Mari, if you guys don't know, there's a chapter at the end of the Evangelion manga where Mari is actually 16 and she's in the past and she knows like Yui and stuff. But the manga author said it's not canon to the manga or the rebuilds. But now I think he was capping. I think it was actually canon. But man, I cannot believe, I still can't believe it. The overarching message of the film, the overarching message of the rebuilds, and the overarching message of Evangelion in general is just mind-boggling that it's done this well. Thank you, Ono. Ono's my GOAT. He is a GOAT. And I'm honestly so surprised that it's such a hopeful note that it ended on. I mean, it makes sense that it is, because like, if they did the same ending as End of Eva, it would be kind of weird. But yeah. Also, I got this figure the other day. It's a Rei figure. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I got it the other day. It's pretty cool. I'm talking about Evangelion, so why not show the figure? I also do like that Shinji, in the first bit of the film, he was a little, down in the dumps and stuff. But I loved his determination at the end. Even in End of Eva, even though he ended it in human instrumentality and did all that stuff, he didn't really seem very determined. Like, okay, obviously he was determined, but it was more of like a determined out of disparity. In this film, he was determined to stop Gendo, and it wasn't desperation. He was determined to protect things that he cared about, and he didn't second guess himself. He fought his goddamn father that for the past how many films and episodes he has been afraid of, and who turned out to be afraid of him? Masterpiece. This is amazing. I don't care. Best piece of fiction of all time. I don't care, man. I don't care. The last hour was goated. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Like I said, I do want to make another video on this. And I will. I definitely will. I kind of want to just do an analysis. I do have another video that kind of has to do with this called Why I Love Eva. That's going to come out in the next month or so. Maybe in like a month or two. But I was going to wait till I watch this film to finish that video because it's mostly about the original series, but it also does have a lot about the rebuilds in it. But yeah, it's going to be a good video. So if you're looking forward to that, subscribe. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure if there's anything else I should talk about because, I mean, there probably is, but wow. It was so goated. So good. In no other film have I ever watched a lot of it just with a huge smile on my face. I was so happy watching it. Even the kind of sad parts, I was just happy that I was experiencing this film. And I don't know if I'll ever get a feeling like that again. At least not to this level. It was insane. Like literally smiling, teary-eyed at the credits as well. Wow. Nothing else has done this to me. Even thinking about it's just got me like, damn. Emotional, man. What can I say? I love Evangelion. I'm just so glad Shinji is happy, to be honest. Seeing him suffer all these years, man. I mean, wow. I mean, all the characters in general being happy. I know I keep saying I'm gonna end the video and then not ending it, but man, I love this film. Love Evangelion. You know, I'll save the rest for a different video, a different day. I'm gonna end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. And have a great day. I mean, every day is a great day because Evangelion exists. And guys, I think there's only one way that I can end this video. It might be cringe, but I'm gonna say it. Sayonara. Subite no Evangelion.